That was a fucking guy, and he like punched the guy a lot.
Jesse, we're going to save the main event for last, so I mean, we'll get to that a bit later. First, we're going to start off with, so this is 2016 WWE's Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view. This is a Raw...
So when this is released 2 years from now, we'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we'll know which Roadblock I'm talking about. So, I mean, this is a Raw exclusive pay-per-view, so it's just the Raw roster only. To be honest, I feel like the Raw roster is the only one that I care about. But I'm still in that sort of thing, even though you explained it for the tribute to the troops in a way that seemed to make sense to me. I still think that, like, by splitting it up and having so many pay-per-views that are just half and half, I feel like unless you are getting the network, it is not... you're not getting enough bang for your buck. But anyway, that just promotes the network, I guess, which is good for the WWE.
Why wouldn't you have the network?
So... our first match of the night was Rusev with Lana at ringside, going up against Big Cass with Enzo at ringside. So, once again, I think you made the comment that Enzo is looking really weak, and I know that he has the storyline injury that, you know, he's fucked up, and that's why Big Cass is... But, I mean, he got pushed over by Lana in, like, both of the things that we talked about, and it's like
she beat Enzo and hurt Enzo.
Do you think that this is their way of pushing Big Cass maybe into singles? Because he is a big guy, and
I doubt that.
You don't think so?
I feel like it's just like, but they're just trying to make Lana a bad guy because she's too hot to be a bad guy by herself, and she used to do asshole things.
Hence why she comes out now. It's just like, my husband and the only man who can have me.
That's how she gets seen. I know I'm hot and all of you are pigs.
Boo! I will say, though, that the crowd seemed dead tonight. And I'm not sure if that's because a lot of the matches were pretty bad. And I'm just going to say that right now before we get into it. But it seemed like there was nothing that the crowd was particularly jumping around for, like, with a couple of exceptions. They were just pretty much there. I'm not sure if Pittsburgh was really into what they were saying. But anyway, that was that. Rusev defeated Big Cass by the count out because he went to go help Enzo, and while he was helping Enzo, he was counted out.
He was being beaten up by a woman.
Yes. So, I mean, for the battered Enzo housing commission out there, that's where he'll be going, I guess, because unless Enzo is...
But before the fight, though, Enzo had terrible promo that was over for some reason.
Yeah, we were talking about this, how he came out and he tried to do a bit of the holiday theme since it will be the last pay-per-view of the year. And it's like, oh yeah, like, let's talk about the holidays and get in some ass-kicking. And
mixed it with storyline stuff, and then mixed it with some other stuff, and it just turned into a jumbled mess, and it was like, yeah! And he said cup of haters, and that's what everyone liked.
Yeah, cup of haters. And don't get me wrong.
Like, Brian comes out, says anything he wants, and just says yes, and then everyone loves him.
And don't get me wrong, I like Enzo and Cass, and the crowd was clearly into it, but it's just like... I don't know. I'm going to call him as I see him, and that wasn't a very good showing by Enzo. I
prefer the sense that Randy Savage made in his promos.
We're Space Cowboys, the cream of the crop.
The deep lore of Ultimate Warriors promos.
Oh man, just
say what you will about them. They were cohesive. They actually, everything tied together with itself.
I will rip open the cockpit door. Hulk Hogan, grab the cockpit steering wheel. Take the plane into a nosedive into parts unknown.
Fly a commercial airliner into a mountain.
This leads us into the tag team match, and Cesaro and Sheamus at Tribute to the Troops had won the #1 contendership to go up against the New Day, and they what did you think of the match before we get into the result?
Oh man, I can't even remember the match. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, Sheamus is fucking the brightest thing on earth again.
I was happy about the result, wasn't I?
Well, yes. You were happy about... Cesaro and Sheamus ended the New Day's tag team championship
That's
reign.
right. And it was all about them because they're the new Hulk Hogan's.
So, Cesaro and Sheamus seem to be working well in the ring. They did have a couple of moments which continue with their whole gimmick of they don't get along. But apart from that, a lot of their
I really like the what they do, like the actual interaction between the two actors.
yeah, I mean
It's very interesting to find like they don't like each other, but like they're not dicking each other over in the ring because they still want to win.
yeah. Speaking of that though, it's the New Day. They pulled out every single dirty trick in the book essentially in that match,
Yeah.
but the crowd was still cheering and they're still over. Like they were being the
They're
little,
the Hulk Hogan of this generation.
and that's what I don't get. They're like being the shittiest of
do
shit
no
heels, and they're like, oh look, we're like subbing people out, we're like cheating, we're like Xavier Woods came in, and it's just like everyone's cheering and stuff, and it's like, oh,
I fucking love the ending though. How like they fake like
the tag.
Sheamus and Cesaro that they fake a tag in, and then like so they don't know who the legal man is, and then they manage to like roll the guy up.
And yeah,
Fucking sick.
that's definitely cool. So the New Day's reign is over. They did
That
beat
dark reign.
they did beat Demolition's record, but I don't know. Will they be remembered? Not by me. Like maybe if someone's like the New Day, if they bring up the name, I'll be like, oh great, those guys. But I'm not sure if they're going to stick together. I don't actually know what's in the future for the New Day.
New Day will be remembered, but not the people that were in it. There was the big guy, then there was the trumpet man.
Arguably
Stoner.
the most hype that the crowd was during the evening.
Yeah, well, it's not hard to beat.
And yeah, so I don't know what going forward for either of those tag teams is going to be.
Well, hopefully New Day will sort of take a break for a while and give the other better tag teams a chance.
The next one, which I won't be surprised if no one's talking about this because it was so short. It was Sami Zayn had to just run away from Braun Strowman for 10 minutes, and he did that.
I don't remember that.
Well, yeah, that's just it. It's like, nobody will.
To be fair, I can't picture Sami Zayn right now in my head.
Well, that's one of Sami Zayn's biggest problems. Like, he's a good worker, but he's like
Dolph Ziggler without any of the coolness of being Dolph Ziggler.
His luchador name was El Generico. I mean, it's like...
Jesus.
So,
why would you pick that?
Sami Zayn wins that by running away for 10 minutes.
Like a blank white mask.
Not...
Like it's beige, it's not even white.
We then had Seth Rollins going up against Chris Jericho, and Seth Rollins wins. Nothing I can really say about that match. It was a longer match, going over 15 minutes. Don't know the exact time, but it was all right. Like, I'm not going to say that it was solid, but once again, just forgettable, really. Kevin Owens tried to...
Especially for those two wrestlers particularly being in a match, like, it should be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's... With Kevin Owens interrupting in the middle of it as well, and that's what eventually causing Seth Rollins to pin Chris Jericho. I don't know. I'm having... I really like the chemistry between Kevin and Chris and the Jericho team. That's like...
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch, and one of the best things about watching Raw for the last couple of months. However, I know that they're slowly trying to build up to a break. And I'd be fine with that. I'd like to see a Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens match. I don't know if it's going to be for the championship. I'm not sure if Chris Jericho wants another championship run. He seems to be putting over the younger talent at the moment and just working with them. But I don't know. Chris Jericho's always good on the mic. Doing everything to be a heel. I always prefer Chris Jericho when he is a heel. Just does everything to be annoying or shitty and just get the crowd to dislike him. And yeah, unfortunately, not much I can really say about the match other than that. Where are they going to go with this is... Well, we have a little bit more on this in the main event, so I'll leave that for there. then we had the Cruiserweight Championship. And this was after...
Oh.
Yeah. So, the Cruiserweights, we had the Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins versus Rich Swann for the championship in a triple threat match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
Expensive dove.
What can I really say about this? It's the same problem we were having with the Cruiserweights last time, and the fact that it's just like, it's quick paced, but it feels like this is the new piss break.
It's somehow fast paced, but nothing happens as well.
Yeah, like, they're doing a lot of things that mean nothing. You're watching it and there is no impactful moves. There's no spot that you're like, oh, that's cool.
There is no impact in this wrestling.
And it was, well, there really isn't. There's more,
if only there was.
I would argue that there's not even any entertainment, but we'll see.
There's total non-stop movement on out of his ring.
The Brian Kendrick, as he's going for, is he and TJ Perkins. The story going into the ring was that they had the rivalry together, and Rich Swann was just there. And once again, Rich Swann, he was there, and he won, and he was able to retain his championship. Then we had Neville return.
Yeah.
And he pretty much fucked up all the injured people of the match, and they were all tired. But he still came in and wrecked them. And you were saying,
I don't mind Neville.
Yeah,
be the one person in that whole division that I actually care about.
And is it because like it's shown that he's been able to swim with the big fish? Like he was on the main roster.
It's just someone that I can fucking name. Oh, I know the name of that man. He's not just the black guy or the guy with the blue.
He's not the video game guy, or...
It's Neville, son of Max Moon.
Oh man, Max Moon. But, I don't know, I feel like the Cruiserweights, hopefully with Neville coming back, it will bring that sense of like, this is actually a match that I want to see. This will be cool seeing Neville.
Yeah, Neville, the fucking monster heel of the division.
Which is so fucking weird. It's like, oh, who's the monster heel? It's Neville.
He looks so fucking big compared to them. They're like, holy
he
shit.
looks like he's gotten bigger, and I'm not sure, but I mean, he does look like it. So, yeah, that was interesting. And after the match, we had Kevin Owens go to Jericho's locker room and to no avail, saying that their friendship was over as Jericho didn't accept.
He apologized, of course, because Canada.
Of course. I mean, there's no other way to do it, really. And he got no response and left. Which leads us into one of the main points of the End of the Line subtitle to Roadblock, which is Charlotte Flair version. She was going up against Sasha Banks in an Iron Man match. Now, the 30-minute Iron match is going to be a point of contention for me, and I'm thinking it's going to be for you as well, Jesse, because while, yes, it's good to see that, like, they're not afraid to introduce the Iron Man match and have the Iron Man match in the women's division and trying to definitely separate it and rise it above. And it is, the women's division is much higher than it used to be in terms of esteem and the public eye. Whether or not that's just because they've added a Cruiserweight Championship, which happens to somehow be even worse, I'm not sure. But Charlotte Flair...
They're going to get better, just put things below it.
Charlotte definitely adds a bit of credibility as well, not just with her family obviously being related to Ric Flair, but and Jesse's like, no, David Flair.
She definitely looks like a wrestler, though, which I can appreciate.
Yeah, and she actually is. She's good at wrestling, which also helps. So it's like she's not just getting by on the family pedigree. She's making her own thing. And I made a comment that
the pedigree is Triple H's move.
Is it? Is it anymore? But I mean,
it's Stephanie's move now. Isn't it?
Stephanie does it the best out of anyone, so it should be her move. But Charlotte seems to have stepped out of her father's shadow in terms of people just saying, "Oh, I'm going to like her because she's Ric Flair's daughter." No, she's built herself as enough of a character and enough of a good worker that she has her own fans now.
She has her own personality now.
Exactly. Sasha Banks, however, her opponent, I
Her
am.
personality is I have pink hair.
Well, yeah, that's just it. Her whole legit boss thing doesn't really resonate with me.
You're not millennial enough to do it.
Maybe. I mean, I don't go for the New Day, so whatever. We'll see. Um, like, I'm just gonna say, if you were one of the grown men in the crowd that was just like dancing and cheering around with the New Day, like,
If you have a Venn diagram of people that are supporters of New Day and bronies, it's a perfect circle.
it's not so much a Venn diagram as it is just like 1 = 1. It's like so.
Come at me, bronies / New Day lovers.
Um, so Charlotte versus Sasha in the Iron Man match. It was for 30 minutes, and our first fall occurs roughly around when they had 10 minutes and 50 seconds or so to go. And yeah, it was by Charlotte. And apart from that, the first 20 or so minutes of it was, yeah, they were wrestling, but at the same time, there was that feeling that since nothing was really happening and there were no pins, and it's like,
my problem with my problem isn't with it's a women's division match with Iron Man. I just don't like Iron Man matches in general.
right.
Like when oh, I can see Bob Backlund doing this. You don't want anyone doing that match.
Well, yeah, because that definitely it is a dated concept. It hasn't been done for a while, and whether or not that's just by choice or because there wasn't enough people that were able. But I still think that when I was thinking of this Iron Man match, and this might just be because I'm old, but I was thinking of the 1992 Beach Blast from WCW.
Oh yes, that classic pay-per-view.
Where it was Ricky Steamboat versus Rick Rude in the Iron Man match. And that seems like the kind of people that would be doing the Iron Man match. So I definitely agree with you where it's like, oh, what? Let me think back. And I was just like, oh, there's a Bret Hart, there's a Bob Backlund, there's Ricky Steamboat and Rick Rude, there's a Dustin Rhodes.
The new Dragon Steamboat thing. You went after the old ass Ricky Steamboat.
But yeah, so the match, I think, apart from that, Charlotte tripping Sasha and Sasha hitting the steps, which just was like, ow. I mean, that was really good. And
also Charlotte just fucking going for the chop and just smashes her in the face and breaks her nose.
That was like, yeah, we get blood in the women's match, which it's weird, and it does. I don't know what blood happens to do to like escalate something to make it holy shit, but it definitely always does that for wrestling, where if there's like blood, it's like, oh my goodness. Obviously with the health issues and stuff.
Because wrestling is a bunch of blunt force trauma, so if you're able to cause blood from blunt force, pretty big blunt force.
Oh yeah, that was one of the things I always used to love about cage matches, how it'd be like, you'd see Ric Flair or like Greg the Hammer Valentine, just grind their faces into the cage, and then, there'd be the blood. Which is one of the reasons, and I'm not going to get into it too much because we're talking about Roadblock, but that I don't really like that many cage matches anymore, because they refuse to put over the cage as like a threat. And so it's just like, okay, now we're just obscuring the audience's vision for no real reason.
Because there's no fucking monster heel to take advantage of the threat. Let's just put two wrestlers in there without any forethought.
Would you?
There's a reason why Kane is like, he's the guy for fucking cage matches, because he's a monster heel.
Would you see that the Braun Strowman, the big buff dude who used to be in the Wyatt family, he was the guy that was like the black sheep. Would you see
Bane,
him?
But not as cool.
Would you see him building to be a monster heel, or would you find him credible if they built him well?
It's possible. They have to do a lot of work with him though. Like he has to break away from the Bray Wyatt thing. He has to somehow make his own solo thing. He needs to be decent on the mic. Like, most heels don't need to be that good. They need to be able to say scary shit though.
You need to be able to find them credible.
Yeah, Braun he could do it, but he just hasn't done enough stuff yet.
He hasn't matured enough as a
I
wrestler.
can't remember any of his moves, and that's probably the main problem. Because like, you think Kane, you think choke slam, right?
Yep.
Like that's the big like power move. Like I can't think of any Braun Strowman moves that are like as dangerous as that.
And this is a point that I'd like to get back to for the main event. But continuing on with the Charlotte versus Sasha, the match was all right. One of my biggest issues with this is that Charlotte locks in the figure 4 leg lock for 2 minutes, and Sasha taps out with like 3 seconds left on the clock.
No, that was the figure 8.
Oh no, we're like when it's like
the figure 4 she did beforehand was trash. Then she went to her own thing, and like but the thing is, it doubles the pain because it's 8 now instead of 4.
Oh no, I'm talking about not when it was in the sudden death. I'm talking about when the 30-minute time limit was there, and
both of her fucking falls were due to submission.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I
I
think Charlotte pinned her the first time, and then the final 2 that she got were both submissions.
Yeah. Fucking.
But so yeah, 3 seconds left on the clock with Sasha looking towards the clock, knowing that she would only need to hold out for 3 seconds, and then she would win. But she taps out to tie it. That's dumb. That's fucking very dumb. Not only from just...
I just feel like it's because they wanted an overtime on a fucking 30-minute match for some reason.
And instead of going for the pin, which would be like, oh, sneaky pin, gotcha in the last couple of seconds, which is like, yeah, it's been done before, but still, it'd be like a better way.
It's been done before because it works.
And that's just it, because it's like, now Sasha looks like a fucking moron, and she looks weak as well, because it's like...
That champion.
Because it's just like, you would be able to retain your championship. You would be able to continue. You would have won if you just didn't tap out for 3 seconds. Even if the pain was excruciating, just fucking 1, 2, 3, and you won.
Pass out before you tap.
Right? Yeah. And it's just like, that was dumb. And instead of... abiding, and they even said it on commentary, normally, since it would be tied, Sasha would retain her championship. But they're like, no, this is Roadblock, and this is the end of the line, so we're gonna go back in there for some overtime, and it's gonna be sudden death. And then, as Jesse said before, Charlotte wins again by making Sasha tap out again, and it's just like, it's both times. If we're looking at this just from a booking standpoint, you've shown that your current champion, who's like, I'll do anything to win, will do anything except not tap out. And once it gets really... Yeah.
Don't tap out for another 3 seconds. I can't, sorry.
And then they're just like, oh, she's going back for the injured leg. And it's like, yeah, that's sort of like, okay, it's been injured before, and that's why she tapped out, and that's why she'll tap out the final time. But that's twice she tapped out when she was saying, like, this is the final time that we go out, and this is the final time that... This is when we end this. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to give up. It's like, dumb. I like the fact that the women's division is becoming more relevant, and we can have these longer discussions about their matches, but at the same time, do it better.
I mean, WWE's going to be WWE, isn't it?
Which gets into our main event of Kevin Owens
main event, such a strong word for this,
versus Roman Reigns, which was the singles match for the WWE
it should be good, right?
Universal
You got
Championship.
There, you got Roman Reigns.
Okay, so a couple of things that I noticed. Roman, stop fucking only punching. Like, and if like you botch your fucking flying
punching, that's a good trick.
Yeah, if you botch your Superman punch, don't, oh look, he's got the flying clothesline out. No, it's like,
no, he's just sucking it, punching and stuff.
It's getting really bad because it's like the crowd is booing, and even myself, who was like, okay, the crowd doesn't like Roman Reigns because they're doing this stuff. Even I'm starting to be like, Roman, you got to do something else to make me care, man. I mean, do more choke slams or do more power bombs or even fucking climb up and do the Randy Savage elbow drop. Just do something that makes more of an impact. Like, make that...
A move that's not just punching them.
Yeah, and it's just like, are you a wrestler or are you just there to do, like, flip your hair and punch someone? It's just like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you know what he said.
There was way too many Superman punches in this. Not to mention that Roman's, where he would, like, you know, yell out to the crowd and just, you do his ooh thing. It's, well, that's just it. That's all I can think of. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, once, yeah, okay, you're trying to do beast mode or whatever they call it, whatever the fuck.
I think he's, like, doing, like the Roman Legion or whatever, so he's like, yeah, my troops.
Okay. Well, it makes sense. I'll go with that. That seems like a credible explanation. But it's dumb to do it like 50 times in a fucking match, and it's
still stupid, but like that's what they're going for.
And it's like every time he gets into that fucking corner and he puts his arms up on the turnbuckles, I'm like, here we go. It's going to be another one of those fucking shouts, which is going to lead into a running Superman punch, or it's like, I feel like Roman's matches are becoming extremely predictable and there's not enough wrestling moves in them. With the exception of the Samoan drop, which he does, which it's barely, like, he puts them up on his shoulders and he forces them backwards and he, you know, pushes them down underneath his head as he's falling backwards. That's like basic shit. That is, if I was to be extremely negative, I would compare it to a standing fireman's carry falling backwards. And if you know anything about me, you do not want anything to be compared to someone that does a standing fireman's carry.
No. I mean, that's the way it's going, right?
Roman, yeah, he was protected with so the finish was that Jericho runs down and he does the code breaker to Kevin Owens, and Kevin Roman is disqualified because they assume that Jericho is coming in, and well, he's disqualified the match because he's helped Roman.
Because
he's hurt his opponent. And so Kevin Owens wins by disqualification and he retains his belt, which is good, and we find out that this is all...
That whole sequence, by the way, is like, that's the payoff for the entire event, just that one bit.
Yeah,
because like, it's like a double bluff, almost, and like, we don't really know what his true intentions are.
And we find out that, or at least so far, that Chris and Kevin are friends, and this was all plotted by them, or Chris Jericho he didn't let Kevin know, so it would be more realistic. But yeah, Kevin retains, and they the friendship continues in the storyline. I'll just say that means, and I hate to say it, Roman Reigns was protected in this loss. It was like, he didn't really lose. He could have done it. I mean, the only reason Jericho intervenes is because he thinks that Kevin is going to lose it. And then we see Roman get angry, and Seth Rollins comes out. And Seth Rollins and Roman... Well, Seth fucking does his pedigree, and that's the shittiest pedigree. I don't know how fucking, like, Seth Rollins can expect to be like, oh yeah, I'm picking up the pedigree. At least, and fuck, I don't want to say this. At least when Ric Flair was with The Miz, and The Miz learned the figure four leg lock, he could actually do the fucking figure four leg lock.
Yeah, man, Miz knows the moves. Miz knows the 3 moves he can do. Pretty well. The
pedigree looks like, so Seth Rollins, he sets it up and he pushes the other person away while Seth Rollins goes flying away on his knees, and it's just like, okay, well that looks shitty.
It's like he just took a banana or something.
It's fucking dumb. Seth really needs to work on that if he's going to continue using it.
I mean, just fucking have a training session with Stephanie, she'll teach you.
Yeah, well that's just it. I mean, Stephanie does it better than fucking Triple H and Seth at this point. So, I mean, don't even go to Triple H. Just fucking go up to Stephanie and be like, teach me how to pedigree. Teach me to be a better wrestler.
She'll be like,
Okay.
And Ryan is probably not going to like that because he's a big fan of Seth, and he's a big fan of Triple H. So, I mean, like...
are they connected? Also a big fan of Finn Balor because he doesn't know why.
He he has on like this pin-up board thing now. It's on the cork board, and he has a picture of Seth Rollins and a picture of Triple H, and there's like this string going between them with a question mark. And over in the corner, there's just
connection. I can't understand. They both do the pedigree.
over in the corner, there's like Finn Balor with all these question marks around him.
Like a thumbs up sticker on him.
But
no, but I like him something.
So 2/3 of the Shield, therefore not the Shield, therefore what I was saying in tribute to the troops.
Yeah, the Shield. Sheila.
Therefore the she.
Six letters, so it'd be she.
The she. So the she get together and they powerbomb Chris Jericho through a table, and then they powerbomb Kevin Owens through a table. And that is the end of our pay-per-view. So
before that, doesn't Kevin Owens powerbomb, like he slams Roman into a table, the table doesn't break.
Yeah, during the match.
So then he does it again.
So yeah, the table doesn't break, and then Kevin goes up and he does a sort of splash. He jumps on him and does the splash on the table, and that managed to make it break the second time. I will say that there were a lot of boos, not just in this match, but throughout most of the show, and especially when Sasha tapped out and with this 3 seconds to go, the crowd booed quite a bit.
Because they just want to be over.
And with this match at the end, I feel disappointed. This, for the whole end of the line kind of deal, the end of the line was Roman lost because of means out of his control, and then the feud continues. So it wasn't really the end of the line, was it? It's just like...
No.
It's dumb. And that's the
Definitely the entire point of this was to just progress the Kevin Owens Jericho fucking storyline.
And that's just it.
It's the only redeemable thing in the entire fucking pay-per-view.
So the takeaway from the entire pay-per-view was Sami Zayn can run away for 10 minutes.
He's good at running.
Cesaro and Sheamus are the new tag team champions, which
that was a decent fight.
Yeah, that's probably the
highlight.
That's the highlight of the pay-per-view.
I mean, it's a pretty bright highlight as well.
It's the brightest.
Fucking Sheamus.
It's white hot. So our Rich Swann retains his Cruiserweight Championship. Charlotte defeats Sasha for the Women's Championship, and Kevin Owens retains for the WWE Universal Championship. Overall, skip the pay-per-view. Just watch the highlights on Raw. It was there was nothing here really that's like, okay, I need to put the money down and watch it, or I need to go back onto the network and I need to watch the whole thing. If anything, just watch Cesaro and Sheamus and just catch the highlights of Charlotte versus Sasha, because I'm sure that the highlight package will...
About the 40 seconds of highlights from that 30-minute fucking match.
Yeah, and that's it. With the overtime, it was over 30 minutes as well, so it's just like... Hopefully that's a good highlight package.
Long match doesn't mean good match. It almost all the time means a bad match. So.
And I hear the people saying, like, Iron Man match equals good match because it means that there's a long match that people have to wrestle in. Yeah, but if people do nothing for 30 minutes, it still means that, you know, you've just wasted 30 minutes, and there's no getting out of it early. Once you're in an Iron Man match, fucking buckle up. You're there. There's no...
they do an Iron Man match, like, the first 5 seconds, they knock each other out. And then, like, they wake up, it's like 3 minutes to go, and they're just scrambling to fucking get each other.
Yes, the CM Punk maneuver.
That'd be an amazing match. Oh, God.
Just lie in a fucking corner and just wait. And then it's like...
Sorry, who's CM Punk? He's been wiped from my memory.
I think...
I know who that is.
I think he was, like, some jobber that the Shield went after. I can't really...
MMA fighter that, like, hasn't actually fought yet?
Oh, no, he fought and he lost. That's the guy I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah, the guy that lost a lot.
Yeah, that MMA fighter that lost.
You can't lie in the corner there, bitch.
Well, I mean, you did when you lost, but I mean...
There's no corners, it's a fucking hexagon.
And, you know, to the people like, oh, I gotta respect him, you know, no, I don't.
No. You have to respect people that fucking think they can fly and jump off cliffs.
You,
No, they're fucking idiots.
you
They
respect
don't belong
people
there.
that you personally believe warrant your respect, and I do not think that, oh man, just because he went over to an MMA thing, he deserves my respect. No, you don't.
As he willfully got the shit kicked out of him doesn't mean he deserves respect.
Exactly, just like, I mean, if a guy walks into the meat grinder, you don't go, fuck, gotta hand it to him.
Just to prove that he could beat the shit out of him. Like, yeah, man.
Yep, that's what a meat grinder does. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to prove here, but
Oh, fuck.
anyway, that was WWE Roadblock, End of the Line. Yeah, give it a miss. It's a shame because that is the last pay-per-view of 2016. And the road to WrestleMania officially starts now. So that, which is dumb because they had the Roadblock at the. Yeah, I don't care. That's enough.
It's to fuck with you. It's because they're fans of the Amazing Race and they're like, guys, have got a good name for a pay-per-view. We need one more pay-per-view this year so we can round out to a nice even 30. Let's do this.
And with that, I'm going. So I'll catch you guys later, and thanks for listening.
I'm never going.